It doesn't mean that you're not going to get cut. It doesn't mean that you're not going to die. But it's definitely an answer.
Hey guys, welcome to today's video. There's always an escape. Imagine yourself in this situation. You're on the ground, guy's got his knee on your back, you don't have use of your arms, he's got a knife to your throat. Like, how do you get out of this situation? Well, this concept really interested George Pogacich, the Russian martial arts Hall of Famer, to pursue Systema. He came across this while studying and training with Systema, and this really piqued his interest. It's definitely interesting. It's not something you would probably think of. But anyway, make sure to check out the previous video we did where we talked about this Hollywood film that was going to feature Systema and also star Jason Statham. It was called Jimmy Six. And it's this kind of situation and this kind of scene that could have potentially been in that movie that kind of really would make it stick out, something a little bit different. But anyway, please help support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing the video. And with that said, let's figure out how to get out of this situation potentially and why it could work, and then some other stuff, of course, as well.
To give you an idea, if, like, let's say two professionals are fighting, right? Two high-level, Spetsnaz or military or assassins. And the one guy has a knife to his throat on the ground. He's better than him. So he clearly beat him to the ground, put a knife to his throat, and he's ready to finish him off. He's also got his knee in his back, so he can't move. And the guy on the ground does not have the use of his hands because they're under him. They're pinned under him. How does he get away?
Well, you told me this. We'll let the audience guess for like, you can pause it. Yeah, or for 5 or 10 seconds. Let's it like, I mean, it makes sense with what you said. You could tell everybody if anyone in the audience ever is in that situation, here's something you can do.
You tell.
Well, basically, you could start crying to throw the guy off psychologically.
Yeah.
Because honestly, he'd be like, what the,
And why would he do that, though? Why would he do that versus other people would probably react differently and not care? Why would he care?
The guy who's going to kill the guy? Why would he care? Well, that's a really good question. I don't know if, like, I mean, if I had to guess, like, if I was this guy, I like part of the humanity would kick in. I'd almost like, I would feel different, like I'm killing a real, person as opposed to not thinking about it. I don't know.
Well, here's
That's
how
what comes to mind.
we have a sadistic, narcissistic KGB guy, right? You're dealing with people that are almost like.
So you're not going to get, would you still get through to him crying then? Because you think this guy's immune to all that.
No, because he's sadistic because he's a narcissist.
So he's not getting enjoyment because you're crying.
He can't believe that you're a professional, that you're crying for your own life. He would be like, because you shouldn't, right?
He would want you to fight it and
he would
man
be
up,
amazed that he's
basically.
hearing you. He couldn't believe it. First, he'd be shocked that he's hearing you. Secondly, he's enjoying it because he's sadistic.
Mm-hmm.
See, if he just killed you, that's not torture.
That's
But psychological torture on these types of people, it's got to be the right type of person. And these people who are sociopaths.
Well, the audience knows I'm not a sociopath. I didn't come up with it. I'm all like, the humanity, man. I can't kill this guy now.
But I mean, you see how that fits into like a character of a movie and the explanation.
It's interesting. So, okay, so
the explanation.
It's okay. So let's play this scene out then. This guy's crying, and then this sadistic dude is on top of him, and it's kind of not the way it's not playing out the way he anticipated. So now what realistically you think happens?
Well, he's surprised to hear. So he stops. Instead of cutting his throat at that moment that he was gonna, he's kind of distracted because he can't believe he's hearing this guy crying. Yeah. He should not care. He should be honorable for his country, that whole thing.
Sure.
That's before dishonor, and right. So, but he's crying for his own life, this warrior. So he's going to stop to hear that. It's because he can't believe it. That's surprising that he would do that. And then by stopping like that for a minute and also enjoying it, again, because he's like, yeah, I'm a sadistic narcissistic and I enjoy hearing this guy cry. I'm sadistic. All of a sudden, the guy's distracted and he's not putting as much concentration and focus on his balance. And then this guy starts moving, and then all of a sudden he loses control. And now it turns into there's some space. Now I can fight back. Now I have a chance. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get cut. It doesn't mean that you're not going to die. But it's definitely an answer.
It's a chance. It's a brief moment.
A brief moment that could work.
There's always an escape.
And that's why I like that, because there's thinking going on. It's really a thinking man's art. You know, where you're just, it's a never say die approach. And
never say die, not never say cry approach.
Say cry, right? You could do that. But, you know, also it fits in perfectly if you're trying to establish a character for a film. I mean, that's perfect, and a perfect reason for the character in the film.
It's an interesting scene that it would be memorable, right? Like, I've never seen that in a movie.
Right.
You know, it would definitely be memorable. I could see how both actors would
That's
play
how
it.
it can work in there and to be different, right?
But the question is, can Jason Statham cry in a movie?
But if he did,
Nicolas Cage can.
If he did, that would be a first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People that would be definitely memorable because he never cried in the movie, and then that scene would be focused on, like, wow, what's going on in that scene? Why is he crying?
Yeah.
You know? Now there could be even a narrative to explain that further of what's happening here. You know, sometimes it requires a narrative. You know what I mean?
You
like
know,
a voiceover.
Yeah, or I think it'd be better if they could foreshadow it somehow. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. It'd have to be a similar situation, almost like in Bloodsport, how they foreshadowed that Van Damme will be able to fight blind because he did blindfold trading. You know, just like he could take the guy's coin because he could grab a fish out of the little, you know, pond thingy fountain.
Yeah, yeah.
They got to foreshadow that somehow and then pay it off, like with a scene like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but that, to me, that would be it's kind of interesting. So, you know, you think of these scenarios and these movie ideas just off of a technique and some martial art.
Sure.
Because it's based off what they did in war, or it's based off, you know, the elite Spetsnaz did or encountered. Or and I don't know if they ever pulled that off. Maybe they did. Maybe there is a story there that is real, that really happened, and that's what they did.
That's possible, man.
You know, I know that was something to do. They would talk to me about that, you know, like for example, but I don't know if the for example was something based on an actual event or not, or just given an example of something like that. You know, the mentality.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like, were they trying to convey the mentality through example, or was this based off an actual event that really took place? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really fascinating. So, and that's why, you know, I couldn't help but be, I couldn't walk away from that. You know what I mean? That's and go back to, you know, punching and kicks or something.
Yeah.
You know, I had to look into that a little more, because that was some of the first. That was what I started reading and studying about that. That's what drew me in.
Yeah, sure. Those
Just that mentality. Yeah, that drew me in as something to look into a little further about that, because there's all these different martial arts and all these things flying by everywhere. You know, this one here stood out.
Yeah, with the different extreme situations in some instances of like, I'm screwed.
Yeah, so I studied that. I started studying it in 1997. You know, and then I was like really hardcore. You know, all day, 24/7, all day, like
I mean, if you got the, you know, certificate and you were basically traveling and helping teach seminars, I mean, yeah, that is, I guess, in a lot of ways became your life for a period of time.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it did. And then, you know, I was moderating the forum and everything else. It was, nobody was doing it. Nobody was traveling from the United States over there. I always found things at the ground floor, you know, like when things first started out. I seem to have a knack for that, you know. And then what happens? It gets so commercial and overblown and all over, and then I just have to get away from it. It gets
Well,
too.
you know what that reminds me of? It's almost like when you discover a new band that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And then when they become real popular, I remember distinctly this happened in the late 90s, early 2000s with Korn. Like a lot of people, I knew people were into them. And as by the time that one album came out, I forget the name of it. It has like the girl climbing some steps or a cliff or whatever. By the time that Got the Life, that song, but that album came out, the people who were really into them early on kind of like, okay, we had enough. They're mainstream. They're on MTV all the time. So we got to find something new, you know?
That's what happens. Yeah, it gets and that I have that same experience with bands, where I really liked them before they got commercial, and then all of a sudden they're on. I grew up when MTV came around.
Because they're almost not as special to you anymore than if like the mainstream is into it, right?